Welcome to Dicta, your weekly dose of law school and bar exam info. I'm Carrie Ann.
And I'm Puyan, and we're the co-founders of Vinco. So today, we're going to talk about the self-defeating spiral on exam day.
Ooh, self-defeating spiral.
So, Carrie Ann, what is the self-defeating spiral?
Well, I find that this happens when students are running out of time on exams. Have you ever been in that situation where you're taking a test and all of a sudden you go, holy shit, where'd all the time go?
Yeah, I have 40% of the time left to complete 70% of the exam, and I just start going faster and making stupid mistakes.
So, it happens. Happens to everyone. You are not unique if this happens to you. I never had timing issues ever until I got to law school. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, that was fast, right? So, and it's not just law school exams, this is also a strategy for the bar exam, right? This is any exam situation where you feel the clock ticking down. So, like Puyan said, if you see that you're running out of time, what's your natural instinct?
To try to answer the remaining questions as fast as possible.
Right? And now the underlying dialogue in your head is, I have to go faster, right? So now you're, not only are you not fully focusing on what you're doing, but you're rushing and you're just distracted.
Totally.
Does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say something that might be unpopular and will be against your instincts. I'm going to tell you, when you feel like you're running out of time, when you need to re-strategize, that you stop what you're doing. So, but Carrie Ann, I am running out of time.
Crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk. How can I afford to do that? So it depends on the exam you're taking. Let's start with an essay final exam in law school. I would say to stop, give yourself 30 seconds, and look at the questions that you have left. I know for me, sometimes professors would give essays that weren't all equal. There'd be a 30-point essay, and a 20-point essay, and a 5-point essay. Mm-hmm. Take a quick look at what you have left and go for the most points. Yeah. Move on from where you are and go for the most points. That gives you the best possibility to do well on the exam. If it's a multiple choice test, see how far off you are. If you're only 3 or 4 questions behind, take 30 seconds and take a couple of deep breaths. You can make up the difference on a little bit of being behind. But if you start panicking, it's like you're throwing all your hard work out at the window, pretty much.
Exactly, yeah.
So if it's a multiple choice test and you're really starting to run out of time, I would suggest looking for questions that you know the answer to. So you start reading it and you're like, okay, this is something I'm strong on, try to answer it. The next question, I don't really know this, pick a letter and bubble it in. But you have to try to eliminate that I'm running out of time, and refocus on what you can get points on. Totally.
So during law school, I never did this. I would always just speed up and do the best I could on the remaining questions. But when I studied for the bar exam, I actually took a step back. And every time I would panic, which was frequently, I would just close my eyes, take three slow breaths, and then I would continue with the questions. One thing I did was on the MBE, when I was running out of time, I remember specifically on the morning section, I was running out of time, and I began to skip all of the really long questions.
I've heard that. That's not a strategy I've personally employed, but I've heard that recommended before. So
just because I'm a slow reader, so it was taking a long time to read the questions. So I would just skip over all the long questions. I would focus on shorter questions, but I made a concerted effort not to skimp on quality of thought process. So I would take it slow. I would reread and reread until I really understood what I was doing, and then I'd move on to the next question.
And I think a part of this timing crisis can be prepared for and avoided. So obviously in the bar exam, all essays are equal. So that wouldn't be a strategy you can apply on that bar exam, at least in the UBE states and New York, New Jersey. So what you would do in that case is you have to give yourself your 40-minute or half-hour cutoff, whatever it is in your state, and you have to move on. So if you go into the bar exam with that plan that I have a half hour, wherever I am there, I'm going to stop and move on, you will get through more of the test. And it is always better to have 6 partially written essays than it is to have 2 really good essays. Absolutely. So in that instance, if you start getting behind, the best thing you can do is to move on. But if you go in with a plan, you could avoid that situation in the first place.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So we hope that if you've had timing issues on your exams in the past, or you find yourself in this situation in the future, you'll remember to take a step back and re-strategize before you move forward.
Absolutely. And thank you for spending this time with us. If you have any questions, send an email to carrieann@vincoprep.com, or we'll see you on our Facebook page.